I received this insight about a title called Prisoner of War. The book
Let's go! What's going on, everybody? What is going on? It is your boy Dano. Welcome back to another episode of Weekly Dose of Dano TV. You guys, man, you guys are killing it in the comments. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Omar, thank you for checking in. We got the bakery checking in. We got the hashtag live from Jamie Lane. We got Dominique. We got Jeanette. We got the positivity posse in the building. That is what I'm talking about. Thank you guys, seriously, so much for being here today on this Thursday. I believe it's the 27th, man. I want to know, how did your month of January go? I mean, I feel like it went by like that. And isn't usually January the longest time or the longest month in the year? I mean, I thought it flew by, but that's because there was many blessings. That's because there was many opportunities, many experiences, and we were focusing on the good stuff for January. So that's probably why it went so fast. You know what they say, when you're having fun, time flies, and that is what I'm talking about. Thank you, Jamie Lane. Hashtag positivity posse. You guys already know. If you guys already been seeing it, I mean, hopefully you got some eyes and you can hear my voice, because if you're watching this right now, I need you to do me a favor. Just so I know that you're rocking with me and enjoying this great content, please drop a hashtag positivity posse. And I even made a video for it. Here we go. It's right here. Boom. Hashtag positivity posse. You guys are always killing it. And I just want to say I'm super grateful for you guys, as you already know, because you guys, without you guys, this wouldn't be possible. So I really want to say thank you guys so much for all of that. Hashtag, that is what I'm talking about. This is the good energy, man. I'm just shaking because it's going all through my body right now. I hope you guys can feel this energy, because I'm throwing it over to you guys, and you guys are throwing it back. And next, we're gonna throw it out into the world because we already know, man, the world nowadays is not it's not in the best state. But you know what? It's all about what your perspective is. I mean, if you can find it to be this is the best time of your life, then that's what I'm talking about. Drop some tips into why it's the best time of your life, and maybe share with us some tips, ideas, perspectives, maybe events that have happened to you that have just completely shifted your paradigm, and you're like, man, I gotta share this with somebody. So you guys are absolutely amazing. So there has been so much that has been going on at the end of last year and into right now too, up until this moment, that I got to share with you guys. It's all about well, I can break it down kind of into these three categories that we're going to be talking about today. So we're going to be talking about fearlessness, we're going to be talking about communication, and we're also going to be talking about honesty. Because I feel like with these three things, there's nothing that you can do, no decisions that you can make, no experiences that you can run into, or anything that can happen to you to really shake you off your path. And it's just what I believe, and that's what we're going to talk about for today. So with those things in mind, just get the gears going, get the questions turning, and get the ideas, insights going, because it's going to be a great, great show for today, like it always is. It really always is with you guys. So you guys already know how we always have to start the episodes for today. We're going to be doing our affirmations for today, and there's a book, Affirmations for Happiness. To be honest, I haven't even glanced through it. Like, I glanced through it just to shuffle through the pages and to see how many pages there were. But every time I read this, I'm experiencing it with you guys for the first time as well. So yeah, I'm really, really excited to get out there for today. So we're going to do number 15, page 15 for today. Let's see. So here it is. It says, I always find new opportunities to enjoy. Each day is a new gift with an infinite number of potential presents. I can choose to see as many as I want. I can find happiness in a wide variety of places. I choose to seize these moments and enjoy them a little more. So if you always wanted to go back, let's go. Focus, camera. Come on, it's weekly dose of Dano, man. You gotta get right. You gotta get on my level. So if you guys always wanted to, you can go to the replay and actually take a screenshot just in case you wanted to reread that affirmation and you really wanted to beat it down into your head. Yeah. So there we go. There's always presence to be found in anything that you do, whether it is positive or it's not so positive. There's always a lesson to be learned. And it's like we always say on here, man, everything is a lesson or blessing. So I'm just really happy just to be able to be here with you guys and just to share that with you. So if you discovered any presence in your life, whether they're physical or not physical, let us know in the comments, because you guys already know that we pour into this positivity pot and we throw it out into the world, into the universe, and it always comes right back to us in ways that we see or that we might not see. So I'm really excited about this segment that if you guys have been watching for the start of season 3, actually, we've been doing on the street interviews, and that's what we're going to be doing in the next segment. So this question I actually read this question in a book, and I thought it was so profound, and I wanted to go to the streets and see if people were to have the same answer that I would have had. I can't give away the question just yet. Y'all can't. I gotta wait for y'all to watch the video. So yeah, this question, I'm gonna give you my answer now before we play the video, and I'm going to say no. And the question is this: is that if today was the last, I guess I know I just said I wasn't gonna do it, but I just can't contain it, so I'm gonna give it to you guys anyway. If today was the last day of your life, and I need to see your answers. I need to see them. If today was the last day of your life and you were to drop dead, would you be satisfied and content with how you lived your life? Okay. And I'm going to say, for me, I'm going to say no. I'm not satisfied and I'm not happy with how I live my life. And I only say that for one reason, and one reason only, is because I feel as though I have so much more that I have to accomplish. I have so many lives that I need to touch. I have so many hearts that need to be open, just pried open, because right now, man, they're shut. And I want to be that person just to say, yo, whatever you want to do in your life, please just believe me. I swear, you are capable of being that person, and you are capable of accomplishing anything it is that you want in your life, yo. I don't care what it is. There's nothing too big. There's nothing too big in this world that you can accomplish. I was just there's a secret guest that's going to be coming on February 17th, and I just got off the phone with them, and he opened up a new perspective for me. And when I tell you that, like, new things are being learned up until, even on the show, but I'm telling you, even up until the point of the show that I hit that go live button, I'm always learning something new. So he says, all right, so it's a he, so I can give you a little bit of a hint, but I can't tell you who it is. He says that there's people like Elon Musk that are going to space, and they're building their own spaceships, and they're traveling out there to Mars, and anywhere that you want to go. If these people are able to go to outer space, to the moon, and places that are just unfathomable, why can't you do that same thing? Does Elon Musk, and do you have 2 arms and 2 legs? Yes. Not everybody, but do you have a heart? Do you have a brain? Do you have positive energy that's going through your life? Yes. So what's the difference between you and him? I know for me, the difference between me and him is that he's just been doing it longer. And I'm going to be honest with you, because I do see myself doing the things that I know that I'm capable of. And my point is this, is that there's nothing in this world that you can't accomplish. So, and I know that I need to go accomplish those things. So that's why I'm going to say no to that question. And before we play this clip, because the clip is super fire, it was actually amazing how all the people in the clip, there was only one local person from Philadelphia that was inside the clip. There was one person from Miami, 2 people from the UK, and another person from Chicago. So I'm going to read the comments first just to hear some ideas. I love your shirt. Well, thank you. It wasn't what I was looking for, but I appreciate the compliment. You rock. Now you guys are just being too kind. So Jamie Lane says no. Nancy says yes and no. He says, Lou says yes up until this point. It's always about progressing further, though. Yes, I agree with you 100%. I'm on the same wavelength as you. I'm passion. I'm curiosity. I need more time. I agree with that 100%. We all need some more time. And what's funny about I need more time is that I feel like no amount of time that we'll ever have will be enough to experience these lifetimes of great opportunities and great blessings that we could have in our life in one lifetime. So that's another reason why we got to get to it right now. We can't wait. I'm going to say yes. I've lived a good life and had the most amazing children in my life. Satisfied. Here we go. Last one. Yes, satisfied. Oh, I like the Martin Luther King picture as well. Yes, satisfied. Made mistakes and learn God's plan. If you follow his signs and listen, you'll be satisfied 100% with the life that you live. Yes, that's what I'm talking about right there. I love that answer. So now, since we've seen some of your answers, now we're going to hear what the people on the streets of Philly had to say when I went to go interview them. Let's go.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Dano, television show host of Weekly Dose of Dano TV, and y'all already know what we're doing for today. We're in the streets of Philly asking everybody the questions that you need the answers to. Let's get it. What are your guys' names?
I'm George.
And I'm Ellie.
Nice to meet you. Where are you guys from?
We're from both from the UK.
Oh, nice.
London.
Yeah.
And what are you guys doing over here in Philly?
On holiday. Doing a bit of tourist getaway type thing. So obviously it's rocky steps, so here we are.
We've got family in the US, so we thought, well, I'm going to explore Philly as well.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. It's nice to meet you guys as well. So the question for today is we're going around the streets of Philly. We're asking one question. If today was the last day of your life, would you be fulfilled and satisfied in how you lived it?
I would say yes, because I'm happy here. It's beautiful and doing what I'm doing. I'm like, I've done, it's been good so far. So like being here and having a really nice time, actually, yes.
Awesome.
But that's saying a little bit of pinch of salt. I mean, everyone wants to do more things, but from what I've had a decent run, I'd say.
Yeah. I think definitely. I think the last few years for everyone has been hard, and I think it's put everything into perspective that when or we know in the UK, I don't know what it's like for you guys, when we went into lockdowns, all of a sudden our life stops, and then coming back out again of like lockdowns and stuff, it really made you think, we need to make the most of this life. Like, it can change in a matter of moments. And so like, we're just loving being on holiday again. This is our first holiday in over 2 years, so it's just like so nice to be like, yeah, we're doing what we want to do again, and we're trying to make the most of our time on earth, really.
That's awesome, and I would definitely agree with you guys that you're really living life to the fullest. I mean, you're out of your comfort zone, you're out of the country, and now you're in a place where, you know, you said you have family, but, you know, you're experiencing, and then you're not letting fear just hold you back. You're going out and you're doing it. Sir, what's your name?
Cody.
Cody? Nice to meet you, Cody. I'm Dano. If today was the last day of your life, would you be satisfied with the way you lived your life?
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
Why is that?
I don't have any regrets. I don't have any regrets at all. I think I was raised the right way. And, you know, you learn from your mistakes and move on.
100%. Yeah. So what's the biggest blessing right now?
Life itself. Life itself. That's all. Simple.
Just the fact that you woke up today, right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
my
sir.
man. Thank you, Cody. We appreciate it. What's your name?
Isabel.
Isabel? Nice to meet you, Isabel.
Nice to meet you as well.
If today was the last day of your life, would you feel like that you've been satisfied with the way you lived your life?
You know, I think I would. I feel like it's a very hard question that most people don't know how to answer, but I feel like I kind of live my life every day like it is my last day. Like I just do things like every day that I like for me. So if today were my last day, I'd be very satisfied with it, just because, like, I don't know, like that's a hard question, but yeah, I just do things that make me happy every day, because like there's not a lot of control in life, but I control the things I can control, and those things make me happy. So I think I would be happy with the last day.
What are some of the things that you do on a day-to-day? Like you said, you like to live for yourself, and you know, you don't have any obligations to anybody else.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you like to do that you live for yourself?
Well, right now I'm a student at Drexel University, so I'm in classes right now, but this is like actually kind of funny where you found me. Like, I do this walk to the art museum every single day. It's like an hour walk, but I really just like it to kind of clear my mind. So that's one thing that I do every day, which is like, I've seen so much improvement with like my happiness because of it. And I also wake up every single day really early at like 6 to work out, which also just kind of clears my mind. And then I like go on with my day. I make my avocado toast. Like, I just make little meals that make me happy, or I'll get all my work done. Maybe I'll watch like an episode of like my Netflix show just to kind of like release. And yeah, just little things like that make me happy. I'll FaceTime my sister, FaceTime my mom, stuff like that.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Isabel, for your time today.
Thank you, guys.
What's your name, sir?
Carol.
Carol? How do you spell that?
K-A-R-U.
Well, nice to meet you, Carol. So now we're just asking people on the streets of Philly just one question. If today was the last day of your life, would you be satisfied on how you lived it?
Yes, I am.
Why are you so fulfilled with your life?
Oh, because I just enjoy the simple things of life. You know, I'm blessed. Just here. I'm from Miami, so you know, everything just coming my way. I just be thankful for everything.
So, what do you guys think of their answers? I feel like there were some similar answers there. One of the things that I noticed nobody really talked about was money. You know, I feel like every day we go about our days and we're so focused on money, and we're like, wow, you know, I got to pay this, or I got to pay that, or, you know, you're in debt, or whatever the case may be, or I just bought something new. I just bought a new car, or I just bought a new house. Nobody gave an answer related to money. And I thought that was super interesting, because as we go about our day-to-day lives, we think that that's the ultimate thing. But if it's the last day in your day, nobody said, well, I wish I would have made more money, or I wish I would have done this or done that related to money. So I thought that was super interesting. And yeah, there was, you know, oh yeah, most definitely. It was cold. It was super cold. That's why if you saw me in the interview, I had my hands in my pockets, because if I had them out for more than 30 seconds, I felt like I was going to get frostbite. Lovely segments. I love doing them for you guys. Just going up to people and kind of, you know, it's funny when I run up to them with the microphone and I'm like, hey, are the rumors true? Is this true? No, I'm not like that. But, you know, I go up with like a calm sense and, you know, just like, hey, like trying to make it cool. Some people, you'd be surprised how many people say no, they don't want to answer a question, whether they're uncomfortable being on camera or they just don't want to be bothered with, like, you know, they're on their way to work. So I love doing the segments for you guys too. just to get like the, another perspective too, whether it's me, whether it's the positivity posse, or the people on the street that are soon to be the positivity posse. They just don't know it yet. I just thought it's so cool just to get these different types of reactions too. And I don't even know if you noticed, but in the first clip with the two people from the UK, his name is George. As soon as I asked the question, he started to back up a little bit just because it was probably a lot of energy within that question. He goes, I thought it was pretty funny, but I felt like everybody killed their answers, and it was awesome. It was super, super awesome to do that as well. So you already know, money does not equal happiness. Just to reiterate that point, whatever you're going through right now, just let it go and let go. That's what I mean. You can only control what you can control, and there's more to life than money. So those three, the things that we're going to talk about today: fearlessness, communication, and honesty, were some of the things that I felt when I was speaking to that couple from the UK. I would say one, fearlessness, because they're traveling the country. They're traveling out of the country, excuse me. They're traveling the world, and they're not worried about what might happen, what might not happen. Now, let me be clear in saying that fearlessness does not mean stupidity. I mean, don't go jumping off a bridge or a 30-foot building and, trying to be fearless, because, we got to be realistic at some point as well. But don't be afraid to do things, that you're not really comfortable doing. I was watching this video on TikTok, and it was this girl. She went around Philly and she documented it, some of the parts, and she was like, yeah, well, I'm gonna go out on a weekend night, and I'm just gonna go by myself. I'm not gonna go with a group of people. I'm not gonna do this, and I'm not gonna do that. And by the end of the video, this girl was crying because she was just super uncomfortable with being by herself. And if I would have saw that video, if I would have commented on it, because you already know when it comes to TikTok, we just scroll. I would have, mentioned the fact that, okay, you tried a new experience and you didn't have any fear with that experience. Just because it didn't end up the way that you thought it would doesn't mean that it's a bad experience. Or, you had that fearlessness, like you just went and you went about it, and, you learned stuff about yourself. Maybe, you don't always need a group to go do something. And I also hear that traveling vacation-wise by yourself is one of the best experiences that you can possibly have. And I could definitely say that because I have traveled by myself before. Whatever, it was a few different times actually, but all of the experiences were amazing. So don't be afraid to be by yourself sometimes too. And I feel like when it comes to fear, that's a big thing that people are worried about. And also fear of what others might think of you, or what kind of judgment may happen. So that was the fearlessness that I got from that couple. And if you notice too, everybody besides that one girl, everybody was from around the world. So, there's no fear in what they're doing. And even though it was cold, super cold, everybody had a smile on their face when they were talking about it, and they were just living in the moment. And, that's only the stuff that you saw on camera. Off camera, there was a bunch of other conversations and, just awesome things going on too. But it wouldn't have happened had they not, imagine if they would have lived in fear, then they just would have been constrained to what they know. And, what kind of fun is that? That's no fun. The communication is another thing too that I feel like a lot of people, that I got from that video. The importance of communication, just to say, hey, listen, like, there's people out here that need your golden nuggets, even though they may not think they have them, it's everybody has a story to share, and everybody has some knowledge, because everybody has gone through one thing or another in their life. I don't care who you are. There's no such thing as a perfect life, especially here on earth. So it's called living. We all have to live our lives and live in those beautiful moments 100%, and a lot of people nowadays, they're just, don't get me wrong, we are in the middle of a pandemic, but there are some beautiful spots and some gold nuggets and gold mines that we can experience even in the midst of this pandemic. So as you already know, we're halfway through the episode, and right now I'm just gonna play the commercials right now just to get them done and over with. Not to say that thank you for the sponsors, but I just really want to get back to this awesome awesome material. So don't go anywhere. Share this with somebody just in case they needed to, hear those lessons, or if they want to contribute and answer that same question as well. Share the video. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. That was just a quick word from our sponsors. Thank you for the sponsors for sponsoring Weekly Dose of Dano TV. It has been absolutely amazing just to, see all of the stuff that you've created. And yeah, it's been a blast. So the 3 things that we're going to be talking about today, drum roll, please. I can do that a lot better, but you get the point. Fearlessness, communication, and honesty. Let's get to it. Let's go, man. Let's go. Okay, so we're going to talk about 5 key points inside of these 3 topics. So, number 1, fearlessness. Let me know if you have any additional ideas on how to live fearless, or if you have anything that you might disagree with. Hey, just leave it in the comments and we'll talk about it. So, number 1, what is fearlessness? I believe fearlessness is living without any, without any fear. Of course, that's what fearlessness is. No, it's living confident in every decision that you make is going to be the right decision, and that you trust that something that is greater than you, or the decision that you are going to make, is in the best interest for you. So, let's just talk about the 5 different ideas in order to how to live a fearless life. So it's what I believe too. So number 1, attracting safe people, right? So as we already know about the law of attraction, whatever you think about, and some people will even argue whatever you feel about whatever the situation is, what your vibrational being is, that is the type of people that you attract. So if you are constantly thinking that everybody is out to get you because you have a scarcity mindset, and the only reason that I bring that up is because that was me, actually. That was me just a few years ago. I always thought that, people just want me for my money. If anybody just tried to help, I just didn't want to take their help, because I always thought that I was living in a state of fear. Yes, I always thought that there was no good people, not no good people, but there was very few good people in the world. And yeah, I always thought that, the world was a scary place. And now I see differently. But, once you make that shift in your consciousness and in your feeling in your body, then you can attract these safe people that are living in this world amongst us as well. Not everybody's bad, as we already know, or what I know now, because back then that was a completely different story. So yeah, make sure that you're putting your energy into attracting people that have the same mindset as, well, not the same mindset as you, but have the same goals as you. Because if you surround yourself, as we already know, if you surround yourself with people that kind of have that same mentality as you, then there's not really too much room for growth. Because if you're agreeing on anything, then nothing is challenging you, and you're just going to stay at that same vibrational being, and the same things are just going to happen into your life. So make sure, one, that you're, in order to counteract fearlessness, you have to attract safe people into your life. Number 2, search for positive qualities. If you want somebody to come into your life that is, everything that you want them to be, make sure you are attracting those positive qualities as well. I know for me, and I can't speak for everybody, but when it comes to having like a significant other, I want them to treat me with respect and treat me with kindness and stuff like that. So you already know, since I'm asking for that, that's what's going to show up into my life. But it works at the other end too. If you're constantly thinking about, somebody that's going to treat you wrong, then that's what you might end up receiving into your life. So always make sure that you're searching for the positive qualities in people as well, because nobody's perfect. So just make sure that, you're picking and choosing your battles, and that you are only attracting these positive quality people inside of your life, and that you're actually looking for them too, because somebody can be sent into your life that means well, but if you're looking at your perspective with a cracked lens and all you see is the other side, then that's all you're gonna get. So be open-minded with that too. Number 3 is operate from love and honesty. And there is a point in my life, this is actually recently, where I had so many tough decisions that I had to make, and I didn't know how to go about them. And these were really tough, because whether it's cutting people off, or making sure that the decision that I'm making is the best for the Weekly Dose of Dano brand and for myself and for the Positivity Posse too, I didn't know how to go about it. I'm going to be honest. There was just so much information and so many decisions that I could have made. But when you operate from love and honesty, only great things can happen from that. And I'm going to go a little bit deeper into that. And it goes back to the law of attraction too. If every decision that you make is 100% honest with yourself and the other person, in the external world and the internal world, you have that honesty, and you're operating from a place of love, then there's no choice but that decision to work out, to reciprocate that same energy, and to be attracted into your life with that same love. And as we all know, love and honesty have those high vibrations. So the outcomes have no choice but to give you that same reciprocity. Here we go, Denise. Honesty means a lot. Without it, there's no trust. And when you don't have trust, then what do you have? I mean, it's just complete chaos. Exactly. One must be honest with self and fully accept themselves. Of course, Jamie Lane. And I feel like that's another thing too when it comes to being fearless. A lot of people are fearful of looking into their internal world because they have a lot of cleaning up to do, a lot of spring cleaning to say, and a lot of people just don't want to go to do that work because they're scared of their past, or they're scared about what they've been hiding and tucking away after all these times. But I'll give you this counterpoint to that. If you are scared and you're watching this, when you clean, think about a house. Pretend that your body's a house, and you have that one room where you have all that junk, and you just have that stuff that shouldn't be there. And every time you look at it, or every time you ignore it, you're just like, man, you just always feel that it's there, right? If you go in and you eliminate and extract that, whatever it may be inside of that room, you're going to have more space for the positive things to fill that space that was negative, right? So you're only making room for growth. You're only making room for positive opportunities. You're only making room for positive people to be attracted into your life. And there's nothing wrong with cleaning. If you're cleaning within yourself, That is one of the best things that you can do. Now, I'm going to be 1,000,000% honest with you, like I always am. I'm going to be straight up. It's not easy, and a lot of people think that, okay, well, I can just think about stuff that happened before in my life and, just say that I got rid of it. And that's not really how it works. There's going to be a lot of, maybe we all have to release it in some way, whether it's tears, whether it's, bodily fluids like throwing up or like going to use the bathroom. That's just some of the ways that people have, released it. Look at that. As soon as I said that, I just burped. See, I guess I was releasing something too. So Jamie, yes, being truthful with myself was one of the best things I've ever been able to do. If you can give some tips to the positivity posse, what are some of the steps that you took in order to be honest with yourself? Because it's not an easy thing as well. Let's clean house. It'll make you feel better in all sense of the word. 1,000,000. You know what? You're picking up what I'm putting down, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. So number 4 is when it comes to living fearless, don't be too hard on yourself. And a lot of people, I hope, can understand this one. So I know for me, when it comes to like dancing, I'm not like the best dancer in the world, right? But I'll still go to a party, I'll still have some fun, and I'll still dance. But that's because I really don't care what people think about me. If I'm having fun and you're thinking that I'm looking a certain way that I can't dance, but I'm still having fun, then let's think about it from a vibrational standpoint. I mean, I'm having fun, so I'm only going to attract the people that want to have fun, and we're all going to get into a group, and it's just going to be a great time, a fun time. So don't be too hard on yourself. Who cares what people think about you? Live fearlessly. If somebody wants to call you a name, all right, well, you know what they say. This is one of my favorite quotes of all time. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words may never hurt me. I mean, words are literally just air coming out of somebody's mouth. If you don't give them the power to make, to live in fear, then there's nothing that they can do to you. Now, sticks and stones are physical. That's a different story, but that's for a whole nother episode. So don't be too hard on yourself, and nobody honestly really cares about what you're doing, and I say that in a way that, like, they'll look at you for a few seconds and they'll probably just go back to what they were doing before, to really it's exactly what I'm talking about. Dance like nobody's watching, even if they are, because, that's living fearlessly. Don't care about what anybody says about you, what anybody thinks about you, and be easy on yourself. And number 5 for living fearlessly, I would say, is live in the now. When you live in the now, and we talked about this, I believe it was last week, but when you live in the now, there's nothing that you have to worry about. I mean, like right now, we're sharing this moment on a Thursday night, and we're not thinking about, I'm not thinking about anything else right now. I'm just thinking about giving you guys this 100% great quality content and nothing else. And look, I'm having the time of my life. I'm having a blast because I'm living in the now and I'm not worried about anything else. Okay, Nick, when the show ends, then I can worry about that stuff. But until right now, this is a sacred space, and I'm only going to focus on giving you guys the 100% maximum quality content. And you guys also reciprocate that same energy by leaving your comments and sharing the videos. And I really do appreciate that as well. So those are my 5 things. So in order to live fearless, 1, attract safe people. 2, search for positive qualities in somebody. Number 3, operate from love and honesty. Number 4, don't be hard on yourself. Like, be willing to look stupid or silly or whatever. Who cares? And number 5 is living now. So that's for living fearless. Honesty, or you know what? Let's go to communication first. Let's not go to honesty. So communication. I feel like communication is the way that the world can really understand about who you are. Everything that you believe in, your morals, your values, your highs and your lows. If there's no healthy way to communicate that, then there's going to be a lost in translation thing, and people are going to get a misrepresentation of who you are. And when you have that clear and effective communication, you stick up for yourself too. So that's what I believe communication is. If you have a different, definition of it, then leave it in that comments as well. So communication, number 1, be positive when you're talking to people and when you're receiving information as well. And I'm going to ask you guys a question. Have you guys ever talked to somebody for maybe like 20 minutes, an hour, a few hours, whatever the time frame is, but you're having such a great day and you know your vibration's high and you're feeling wonderful, but as soon as you talk to that person and they leave, you're like, man, I need a shower, or I just feel so dirty, or I just feel like all of their energy has come onto me. Like, I've experienced that time and time again. And, I have my methods for getting rid of that. But it's because these people, they don't know how to communicate in a positive light. And nobody wants to talk to somebody that makes them feel low or makes them feel drained. I mean, what kind of life is that? So make sure that you're speaking with people in a positive way, because there's so many bad things about speaking to people in a negative way that could happen. I mean, there's fights and there's, people have been, I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. People have died because they spoke to somebody in the wrong tone or in the wrong fashion. So make sure that you're speaking to people in a positive tone and don't drain people, because I bet how that feels. And just always keep that in mind. Number 2 for effective communication is probably the biggest one, in my opinion, even bigger than the positivity, is listen. Listen, Linda. You guys ever see that video? That the kid's trying to tell you how to talk in a positive way, in an effective way. A lot of people don't listen. I know you guys have experienced this too, where you're talking to somebody and you'll pour into them and you'll tell them everything that's been going on in your life. And the very next thing they say is something about themselves, or they'll compare them. Oh, well, that same thing happened to me, but 10 times worse. And this is what's happened. It's like, well, were you listening to anything that I was saying, or were you just listening for a response? I firmly believe that you should be listening, not always for a response, but just to show that you understand the person, and just from a place of sympathy too. So when it comes to communication, just make sure that you're listening. And a lot of people tell them themselves too. If you're in a position where you're not sure whether you should trust this person, a lot of people tell them themselves, but all you have to do is listen. And also listening doesn't have to be external. Listening can be listening to inside of you. If there's something that doesn't feel right in your gut, and you're like, well, I'm going to choose not to listen to it and do what my mind's telling me anyway, then it's probably not going to end up that great. So listening can also work on the internal as well. So number 3 would be honesty. Why would you just lie to somebody? So I firmly believe that the only reason that people lie is because they're scared of the outcome, or they're scared of what the other person might say back to them. And in order to have that effective communication, you need that honesty. I mean, why would you do anything else? If you're lying, then you're digging that hole, and then you have to keep up with that lie. So then you got to keep digging that hole just to make sure that it's good. And then what happens? You have this big ditch that you're stuck in, and you don't know how to get out. But all of that could have been avoided if you were honest in the beginning. So, just be straight up with people. There's nothing that people can say that's going to make you feel bad, or they're just going to, who cares what they say? Because at the end of the day, I feel like you don't owe anybody an explanation. But always have that honesty, because what's the worst that can happen if you're honest? They take it the wrong way. Well, if they take it the wrong way and they leave your life, they weren't meant to be there anyway, and you're leaving space for somebody that's supposed to be there. So even then, it's a good thing. And that's just how I feel about it too. So make sure that you're always being honest with your communications. And number 4 is conciseness. Say what you mean what you said. If you're talking and nobody can really, and you're not getting to the point, and you keep beating around the bush, then that gets lost in translation, and you're leaving an open interpretation for somebody to just twist your words around, or they could just try to manipulate you into saying, oh, well, but you said this, but you said that, because you weren't concise with your words. So then make sure that, yes, right here, be honest, but be kind in how you say what you're saying 100%, but always be concise too. If you want something done by 12 o'clock and you say, well, you can get it to me whenever. No, be concise. Say, yo, I want this by 12 o'clock. and that's that. Or like, if you have something that you have an explanation, you're like, hey boss, well, I really can't get this done because I have something going on in my life, and you're concise with how you're communicating with them, then there'll be some leeway and some understanding with you as well. So that's what I believe for communication, in order to make sure that you are an effective communicator. And like I said, I'm going to say it one more time. The reason that I'm bringing up this fearlessness, communication, and honesty is because that's been a big topic in my life, especially in this past month, when it comes to just being honest with everybody that I've come across and just living that life. Because 2022 is our year, man. It really is our year. So just give me 1 second. I got it. Under Armour, or Body Armor, Under Armour. Hey, Under Armour too. Why not? Body Armor, I'm coming after you. I'm just going to take a quick drink real quick. Body Armor, you better be ready, man. You're going to be a sponsor on this show, I'm telling you. So, honesty is the last key thing that I think we need to talk about for today. And especially now, more than ever, I just feel like a lot of people really aren't honest. And I was having this phone call with the guest that's going to be on for February 17th. And, they say that, when it comes to living like your best life, and it's the stuff that I talk about here too. What goes on in my real life, well, this is real life too, but whatever goes on in my life, I like to share with you guys too, just to share the experience and whatever lessons that you might need. So I was on the phone with him, and he was like, man, yo, Dano, one of the things that I really, probably the number one thing that I respect about you and I appreciate is honesty. And that's because I like to keep it real with everybody, only because, I'm not scared of anybody first and foremost. And I feel like that's a big reason why people lie. But when you keep it honest with people, they're going to keep it honest right back. And they're going to respect that. And they're going to help you out in ways that probably you never thought about before. And just, so here are the 5 keys to what I think honesty should be in order to have that, optimum life. So number 1, when it comes to honesty, you have to be transparent. Don't hide from somebody, or just don't hide from anybody. If you're honest, they understand that you're coming from a place that, is genuine. And just because they might take it a certain type of way, that's not up to you to try to help them understand or try to decipher it. If somebody takes something a certain type of way and it's not that great, or if it's negative, then that's on them. But you have to deliver the information in a transparent way. If you're telling somebody one thing and you're going to do the other, then that's not being transparent. Or if you're telling somebody something and in the back of your mind you have like this alternate secret agenda, then that's not the definition of transparency. That's not living in your truth. So always make sure that you're being transparent, because a lot of people can see through that. If you're saying one thing and you're not actually doing it, or you kind of have like that secrecy to you, I feel like a lot of people can see through that BS, man, and it's not going to work out that great for you. So number 2 is make sure that your words and your actions align. This is like the ultimate telltale sign that you can catch somebody doing that they're not supposed to be doing. Make sure that your words and actions are aligning, because if you're doing something, and I know you guys have experienced this one too, is that, have you ever talked to somebody and they said they were going to do X, Y, and Z, and they ended up doing A, B, C, and completely blindsided you? That's not a good feeling. So if you know that somebody's going to do that to you, and you've been on the other end of experiencing that, then why would you do that for yourself? Because you're not having that integrity within yourself in order to make sure that you're having that 100% honesty. So that's that. Number 3 is willing to accept responsibility and holding other people accountable. And I feel like this is a really hard one to do, because you have to have total transparency within yourself to make sure that this honesty is going great. So if you're doing something that you're not supposed to be doing, then you have to be able to accept that responsibility. And when it comes to the light, because you know what they say, everything that you do in the dark does come to the light. it will come about. So make sure that if you have that responsibility and you hold other people accountable that are in your circle. So when you have that accountability factor, that's when that's when the rockets really start lifting off, because anything that we do in our small things is what we do in all things. And I've experienced that too. Like, I can tell you guys, back in the day, when I was in college, I would procrastinate a lot. I really would. And I've been fighting through that. And I'm having this transparency with you guys, because we all know that we've just, man, it's really not a good feeling. So when like I said, I used to procrastinate a lot back in the day, and now I've been changing that 100%. But since I didn't hold myself accountable, then I didn't receive the grades that I want to receive, and then I wasn't as doing well as I knew that I could be doing. So make sure that when you have that self responsibility and you hold others accountable within you, that is going to be one of the best things that you can do, because everything that you do from there on out is going to be done with integrity, and it's going to be done to the best of your ability and to the best of their ability as well. And everybody's just going to keep raising up. And then what's going to happen? You're going to hit the stratosphere. You're going to hit the moon. And that's what we all want. So always be willing to accept responsibility. And you can't hide from that either. If you've done wrong to somebody and they call you out on it, you got to be able to accept that responsibility as well. So number 4 is don't compromise your integrity. A lot of people like to take shortcuts, and I used to be one of those people. I'm not gonna lie to you, and that's why I'm bringing all of this stuff up, is because I looked in the mirror at myself and I'm like, well, I used to be this way, and now I'm living a different way, and I just want to show that. Well, I wanted to show that if I can do it, then really anybody can do it too, because I used to be I'm telling you, all of these things that we're talking about today, I used to be the worst in every of these categories. So, and like I said, if I can really get through it, then you guys can get through it as well. Don't compromise your integrity. You just got to be a man or woman of your word. You just got to be a person of your word. And if you don't have your word and people know you to be a liar, then that's your reputation on the line right there. And you already know nothing good is going to come from lying, or none of these great things are going to happen to us if we're not holding ourselves to that degree of integrity. If somebody, just because, and this is one of the best ways that I can do too. I remember it's something small, and this is going to be very small, but I always remember this, is when you guys back in the day, or maybe even now, when you're playing sports and it was time, let's just say, to do suicides, right? Where you will run from one side of the field and go back, then, you got to touch a marker and run back and forth. You ever see the people that never, ever touch the line, and they would stop like 2 feet short, and they would just run back and be like the first ones? Well, the only person that you're cheating, and it may sound cliche, but it's facts, is the only person that you're cheating is yourself when you don't hold that line of integrity, or you don't hold that level of integrity. So always make sure that, and it's hard, man. I know this stuff that I'm talking about is not the easiest to implement, because if everybody was doing this, then the world would be a much different place, and we would be in a different time period in our lives. So make sure, like I said, these are so hard to implement. See, look, Jamie's laughing because she knew the cheaters, and that was even when. And that's another point as well. They say that integrity is what you do, or they say that character is what you do when no one is looking. So if you know that everything that you do now when no one is looking, and I know for me, since it's going to be, since I do see Weekly Dose of Dano being global and the biggest and the best, everything that we do right now when no one is looking, which everybody is, but when no one is looking, that's the stuff that's going to translate into the big time world. And that's when you're going to garner that respect. And people are going to say, yo, the stuff that Dano and the Positivity Posse does, we've been talking about it and we've been living it as well, 100%. So just make sure that you're keeping that level of integrity. And for the last thing is to be grateful for the honesty. Don't shoot the messenger. So if somebody comes to you and let's just say your breath is rocking that day, right? And you haven't brushed your teeth or you need a mint, whatever the case may be. If somebody comes to you and they're trying to be honest and like, yo, you got something on your eye, or your breath is rocking, or you got a stain somewhere, don't attack the person and say, oh, you're being a hater, and they try to piss you off, or you coming back at them in some crazy way. Make sure that the person, if they're being honest with you, make sure that you accept it with grace and don't just get pissed off and try to attack the person. Because anytime that the next thing that happens to you, like let's say the next time your breath might stink, you know, they're not going to tell you that second time around because you pissed them off the first time and you weren't grateful or graceful to receive that honesty. So make sure that you are able to receive it with grace and honor, just to make sure that, you know, that people are going to look out for you when you start to do that. So those are my things. Those are my ideas for today. And like I said, these are some of the things that I used to live before. I used to be living in fear. My communication wasn't the best because, you know, whatever the case may be, whether it's life or I was afraid of other people or, you know, the communication and the fearlessness and the honesty, I've seen a complete 180 in my life. And I know that if I can do it, then you guys, I promise you, you can do it too. I swear. So it's hard to be honest at times because people get offended. Well, I feel like if you follow the steps that, and that's another thing too, if you're operating with love, and you really are being honest, and they take it as a certain type of way, that's not on you to help them decipher what you're trying to tell them. That's on them, and they have to figure that out. But I bet you this, especially with that breath thing, if they don't listen to you the first time, then other people are going to tell them about themselves, and it won't feel too great. But, you know, as long as you did your best to help them out, that's all you can do. My life motto, no fear this year. Hashtag no fear this year. That's what I'm talking about, right? That's a great one. And I actually have a life motto too, but I can't say it right now because we're all out of time for today. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this content. Come back next week. We have Christiana coming on next week, and she's actually going to be talking about the power of communication. And she has these cards, which I saw them in person and I read them. And she said that everybody can be categorized into those 4 cards. And it was very, very interesting stuff because once she found that out with those 4 cards, she was able to talk to anybody and everybody. So that's what we're going to be talking about next week. Come back next week for another episode of Weekly Dose of Dano Season 3. Let's get it. Just be, you know, always go out there. Please live fearlessly, live with honesty, and don't be afraid about what anybody says about you. So that's all for today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week for another episode of Weekly Dose of Dano TV. Let's go!